Move on to our next panel discussion. We have with us Ms. Anjul Bhandari, celebrity designer, Ms. Nomita Kohli, principal designer at Wisma Atria Interiors, and Ms. Chanda Narang, CEO of Fraser and Hawes, with us to discuss what the language of design is all about. Moderating this conversation will be Ms. Priya Saigal. Priya ma'am, request you to stay on stage with us as we put our hands together for our current panelists and the next set of panelists. Request Ms. Anjul Bhandari, Nomita Kohli and Chanda Narang to please take their seats on the stage. Priyaji, over to you.
Thank you all, and may I request all of you to sit down, or you can go out on the balcony if you want to talk. But today the session that I'm having is the language of design. So we're going to be discussing, we have various fields over here, and everybody has their own vision, their own craft. So I will begin with you first, Namita. If you can tell our viewers exactly a bit of what you do, and then I'll ask you the next question.
Hi, Priya. Thanks a lot for having me here. So I'm an interior designer. I run a business of my own, have been doing that for the past 35 years. We work with artisanal and, India-made, and we also represent some companies from overseas in the furniture industry.
1 second. Audience, can you just please be silent, because we can't hear, otherwise what's the use? You've come all the way for a conversation. Let's hear it, no?
For the public to come in and see in terms of your formal living area or your dining area. But they also look at their homes and their bedrooms, their kitchens, their bathrooms, the nursery. So a lot of the areas are being looked at. Also the home, in totality is being looked at in terms of your garden, your horticulture, and it doesn't really mean that they have to be big palatial homes, but every space is being treated sacrosanct today.
Anjul, you of course, Anjul Bhandari Creations, good to have you here. Back on We Women Want. A little bit about, have you, first of all, if you can, I'm sure our viewers know, but a little bit about the kind of clothes that you favor, that you would like, you specialize in.
Priya, thank you so much for having me over. And I'll personally request everybody, at least the women, to stay quiet, so that we are here to empower each other. Let's at least listen to each other first, most importantly.
Exactly.
And
can we have some silence, please? We're not talking until you keep quiet. It's as simple as that. Thank you.
Appreciate. So Priya, considering that I do clothes, I also do a craft. So giving everybody the language of craft is very important. And everybody, as Namita just said, that everybody perceives their language of craft in their own way, in their own style, and in their own scope. So a language of design is also the language of art. So like if you see an artist who's put up an art, like we would have Chanda here, she's brought this beautiful piece from Fraser and Hawes, how they put everything together. I personally feel it's each one's eye and each one's style. And each individual looking at it in their own very style is what language of design for me means. And for me to bring that craft, because I only do chicken curry, so somewhere down the line it's empowering women, with the earlier discussion as you were having in the villages, empowering them and making sure that you bring that language of design to the couture level and giving it to the people who highly are interested in wearing the design and want to uplift a woman somewhere down the line is very important. So it has to be a design with a cause is very important.
No, which is why, you actually see both the strata, because a lot of your artisans are in rural villages. I see you going very often to Lucknow and other areas. And the people who buy our clothes are the, the Bollywood who's who. So there is a big world that you're crossing. So and what I like is the simplicity you bring, the simplicity of the design versus the, the clothes that you design is, that comes across very well.
So I personally think, it's a lot to do with, as you rightly said, simplicity is it's the likes of people who like to believe in something which is original. So it actually depends that how much of an original craft of a design are you giving the client. They want to believe that narrative which you're going to give them. So it has to be very true and very grounded, which is very, very important today. We are full of craft, we are full of design, we are full of so many things in this country. But we are very happy to not show it to the world, not show it to the high class and the people who can afford it. Why not? If there's a craft which is being done in a village, or there is a craft like she does furniture. I mean, nobody does furniture on their own. There are people who are doing it.
Correct.
I do chicken, I don't do it on my own. When she's doing a craft, when she's putting the Fraser and Horse Krishna together, there has to be an artist who's doing it. So for me, bringing that artisan on the platform and giving them what they truly deserve is when we are bringing the craft and the design to the world. If we are not giving them their dues, we are clearly not doing the job right. That's very important.
Well said. And now I'm also joined by Chanda Narang, CEO of Fraser and Horse. Chanda, you are working with, you're giving life to a metal really, but you're telling such interesting stories out of it, the way you create, curate. What are your best-selling series? And I really want to talk to you about gods and goddesses. There's also a myth making along with the work that you're doing.
Thank you so much, Priya, and thank you so much for having me here. And thank you for organizing
In fact, I want to
NewsX
tell
this
our
conclave.
viewers that the tiger here is also her creation of Fraser and Horse, which is here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, I'm Chanda Narang, and I brought British silverware into India. And what I'd like to believe, this is my story, is that I transformed how silver speaks from a very British accent to a beautiful Indian language. Our craft, our sensibilities, our culture, and a combination of their skills. But I just wanted to ask all of you right here, right now, to just take one pause, look at yourself, and ask, who am I? Can you do that, please?
As in?
Just as in, pause and ask, who am I? Right now, right here. So in the quietness of looking at yourself, you are actually designing the real you. When you go into your mind and you're putting in images and narrations from other people and social media and YouTube, that's just what you want to be. That's not who you are. Design is all about who you are. Who is your original self? What is your original expression? And can you get to that expression? You can only do it in quietness. When you connect with yourself, each and every single one of us is a designer. We are redesigning and transforming ourselves the moment we are quiet and connected to our own being. Shakti is inside. Creativity is inside. And if you can express it from here, if you can express your original self in any manner, you are a designer, an original designer, an award-winning designer. Each single one of us, right here, right now, is an award-winning designer.
Well, let's congratulate ourselves. Thank you for that. But
Sorry, did I just... Yeah.
no, I enjoyed that. Nomita, a bit about your story. I've asked Anjul and I will ask Anjul and Chanda also. What made you choose furniture and design?
So actually, when I came out of college, I didn't know at that time, there was no, girls didn't really have to have a career. My dad was very keen that, we joined his family business. So I tried my hand at that. I was not happy. I think, like you said, there's a very important thing to understand, and just picking on what Chanda said, because it's a very important point. The point is, an ambitious person, an aggressive personality does not mean that you cannot design inside you. And I think I had always felt that because I was such a ambitious, go-getter kind of a person, that design was not really going to be my calling. I got the opportunity to work, with a company who were manufacturing kitchens. I worked there for about 9 months, and that's where I actually learned the business of design. I learned not only that, and what is very important, again coming back to what you were saying about artisanal, is that I learned that anything a guy can do, I can do. My dad taught me that as a girl growing up. If a boy can do something, you can do it. I learned that I could get onto the field, I could get onto the carpentry workshop, I could create something with the saw and the hammer and the screwdriver and could put things together, which a guy could do. Today, at my own workplace, I actually encourage women whose husbands are carpenters or whose husbands are polishers, but the women have never been given that opportunity. And why not? This is the one place where I think women have not been given an opportunity. So we are actually encouraging women to come into that field. And I think when you look back at what you're coming from and you look at your journey ahead, the journey is what is making you, what has made you, and what is going to make you in the future. And along that, you do learn that there is no disparity between a girl and a boy. And I think women power is as strong as manpower.
Well said. Says the girl who knows how to wield a hammer, so be careful. Anjul, will you share your story with us also? Because was this the career you had chosen?
So I don't know whether it was chosen or it came to me, but I always knew I wanted to work with women because I got married very early. So got married in Lucknow, so was very closely associated with these women artisans. So I knew whenever I was going to do something, was going to be with these women. So like picking it up from where Namita's just left, that women have not been part of a certain kind of industry, certain kind of a job. I think I was truly blessed there because somewhere this craft which I was taking forward was completely in the hands of women. So when it came to the COVID, the unfortunate part of COVID, they were running the houses because the men had no work. People were not ready to buy anything, but these women were still sitting at home and doing their embroideries. And for the world, the work from home was a very new venture. But for us, it was something which always existed. We always would give work to the women, which would take back the work to their villages, to their houses, where they would work in their free time and get that extra money. We just did a little, run through with one of these journalists in Bombay, and she's written that how a craft from a village has gone to New York, where Devika, the CEO of Conclave, was wearing it as a jacket for herself, and she makes sure that she's bringing up the craft of the country. So you have to remember that when she was there, she was speaking to these women and she asked, she says, "Aap paise kamate ho, aap un paison ka kya karte ho?" And I love the answer which came from the women. She turned around and said, "पैसे जो हम कमाते हैं, हम अपने लिए कमाते हैं. हमारे कपड़े, हमारा खर्चा और सब कुछ घूमना फिरना इन पैसों से है. घर चलाने के लिए हमारा पति हमें पैसे देता है. This is our extra pocket money." So that was something which really made me happy because they were not putting their money, they were giving that extra pressure to their husband that if you're making money, this money is mine. So that whole idea of my money was a very big thing. And then that my money, when turns around to support the husband when he has no job during COVID, I think it's a great empowerment which we should be very proud of today. I don't know whether we should be proud of the idea because it was that direct money transfer which made the difference. Was it that the women were getting empowered because the villages were getting the internet? I don't know who is to be thanked, but yes, There is a difference, slowly but surely, there is a difference.
So Chanda, where did women lose their power? I mean, we are the land of Draupadi and Sita. We are, for a goddess, there is a goddess of learning, goddess of money, everything. There is a goddess that is more than the god. So how did it translate down that women became known as the weaker sex, which we are not, but let them think that.
So, earlier panel was talking about gender sensitivity. And at Fraser and Hawes, we have a lot of chats. So all of us karigars, and we sit together when we're doing our handwork. And we talk about how we can empower ourselves. Now, I feel the woman is Shakti. That's empowerment. So when you're talking to the male artisans and you're talking about empowerment, they all say we want to empower our daughters. They didn't say their sons. They say we want to empower our daughters, and all their daughters today have amazing jobs. And investment is in the daughter today amongst our artisanship. They're not bringing them into skills. Hand skills are still very much a male preserve, but the daughters are moving up, educated faster, and therefore are earning, looking to earn a lot better. Where we lost our power is actually after the Vedas written, after all our Gargis and Rishi Munis and all that, it became very ritualistic. So what happens is that if it's ritualistic and you can't follow your profession because you're a woman and you have those monthly cycles and these things, you start slipping down. You start going back in the race because then you are caged. You're caged by the rituals surrounding society. And I think that's where really when we lost our voice as women. That needs to come back. We need to find our voice, and more women have to help women. We sisters have to stand together.
It is the sisterhood, yes. And also women as the creators, and we have a panel of very creative women here. So I'll begin with you, Nomita. Which has been your most favorite creation in terms of whether it's a house or a design or any of you who want to go first? Yeah.
So up until now, I would have actually said, I would have talked about maybe my most passion project that I had done, or my first project, but I've just become a grandmother 6 months ago, and helping my daughter do up my granddaughter's room has honestly been the best project I have ever done.
That is really cute. Anjul?
I think, as she rightly said, our best projects are our daughters. That's what we've created the best. And how we have empowered them and how we made sure that they speak their mind is very important. But when it comes to design, what we are here to discuss, I think my best is still to come. I have a long way. I'm not quitting yet.
Well, that is a very good one. Chanda, what has been your best design or one you're envisaging if you want to take best is yet to come?
Yeah, my best design actually right now is the fact that, how in our mythology, actually how women are very, very empowered, like Sita, who's always being called poor thing. Sita is not a poor thing. Sita is not a poor thing. She's hugely empowered woman who has chosen to walk into the jungle with her husband, knowing fully well it's full of danger. She's the one who's actually stood a great demon, like Raman. Yeah. It's because of her the Lanka burned down. We are calling these women poor things and vulnerable and predicting them as such. My project is to make sure that people like Draupadi, characters like Sita, character like Shabri, poor Shabri, they say the poor Bhil Shabri. No, there's no poor Shabri. For 60 years, she had the tenacity, the patience, the courage, and God himself had to come down to meet her. So we have such powerful women characters who need to be brought out, and the stories need to be told. So Fraser and Hawes is actually now telling their stories. So we're creating craft around women characters from mythology and making them what they are, independent and powerful.
More power to all of
Very beautiful, I must say.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, Thank you all. I think really this is more power to women, and each one here is a storyteller. And I leave Chanda's question to you: who am I and who are we? But I think at the end, Shakti is really the note that women are. So let's give a hand to ourselves. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Anjul ji, Nomita ji, Chanda ji, for gracing our event with your presence.